All right, people. Here we are. Does America still exist? I think it still exists. I don't have a TV in this room. Donald Trump is now the 45th president of the United States, in case you didn't hear about that. Half the country is going completely insane. The other half seems very excited. That'll constantly be flipping over the course of the next 4 years. We got a crazy time upon us, and I didn't want to bore you guys. You know, you can watch CNN, you watch Fox News, MSNBC, C-SPAN, and see the same old people who got everything wrong the entire way over the course of the last 3 years, right? You can watch that. Or I thought I'd bring on some people that actually did offer me some insight over the last couple of years, and that were also in on it on the alternative news side, because this obviously is the future. I mean, the whole thing with Trump obviously is that mainstream media is crumbling, online media is growing, nobody trusts these institutions anymore, and it's by their own doing. And people do trust, or are now at least learning, that there are some alternative voices out there that are trying to bring some good stuff. So I'm very excited because we have invested in some new equipment over here, and we're doing our first ever live group Skype situation for Inauguration Day. And I am joined today by two, at the moment, of my favorite YouTubers. We got a third one coming in a little bit. But first up, we have that guy T over in Atlanta. T, what's going on?
What's up? How's it going?
There he is, and direct from Los Angeles, but a little bit that way, we've got Chris Ray Gunn. Chris, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so Blaire White is supposed to be joining us as well, but apparently up north in California, there's a big storm. She has no power, but we're working on that. So I'm going to start with you guys. So I'm going to need your A games because, you know, Blaire's pretty good, and I need you guys to step up.
Yeah, we lost so many impression points, you know, it sucks.
All right, T, I'm going to start with you because you're a limited government guy. Clearly wasn't a Clinton guy. I don't think you voted for Trump, did you?
I didn't.
You did not vote for Trump. Are you at liberty to say who you voted for?
I actually didn't vote this year. I was on the fence about maybe voting for Trump, but in the end of I wasn't interested in his policies enough to warrant it, and it was just too much of a hassle. So I just bought AR-15 lowers.
Now, when I had you guys both on for YouTube Week, T, I at the time was trying to push you a little bit to Gary Johnson, even though I said, you know, the guy's not a great libertarian and all that stuff. So you didn't even want to throw him your vote, huh?
Well, Gary Johnson still remains to this day the only president I've ever voted for. He was my first vote in the 2012 election. But this year around, yeah, he just wasn't up to par for me, and I just couldn't give it to him.
Yeah. Now, Chris, you are a New York transplant, just made it to California. I don't even know that you would have even had time to register. Did you vote?
Nah, I didn't vote at all. I also didn't have time to register. That was partially the reason, but also neither candidate was one that I would have ever considered putting my name behind.
Right. Did you at least do a nice little jingle about not voting?
No. That didn't seem worth it. This whole thing was just a mess.
Yeah. So let's talk about the mess part, because I think you guys were kind of seeing some shit that a lot of people started seeing over the last year and a half. You know, Chris, you really were nailing this social justice stuff, this split on the left stuff. It doesn't make you part of the right, but just that something is so freaking broken. When did you wake up to that stuff?
Oh, that was probably like 2014. It was probably around that time where I just started to notice that the people that I had typically agreed with started getting a bit zealous, is the word, I guess. A little bit weirdly religious about politics, like to the point where they wouldn't be willing to hear alternative perspectives, even if they slightly differed from their own. I was like, oh, this is starting to be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Does it seem obvious to you guys now? Like, thinking back now, after everything that I learned over the last couple of years, talking to people, whether I agreed with them or not, like Milo and Cernovich and Scott Adams, all these people that were talking about what was happening with Trump, all the the momentum you could see on Twitter and online, all that, doesn't it kind of seem obvious that this was the result? T, I'll kick that to you.
That Trump's victory was the result.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if he didn't get the nomination, it could have gone either way, or even if Clinton didn't get the nomination, it could have gone. Who knows what the outcome could have been. But with these two combined, with the general social status we find ourselves in culturally, yeah, there was no other way. Like, I think, well, the thing is, like, you feel like that Trump's victory would have been inevitable, but the guy's just so crazy, you just couldn't fathom it. Like, I honestly couldn't fathom him beating Hillary. But yeah, it happened. Meme magic made it happen.
I'm curious, how did you guys like gutturally feel, like in your gut as you were watching this thing today? Because I kind of felt it was like going like this. Like I was kind of like, all right, there's something good here. America's coming back. We're going to focus on the right things, get the economy going. And then there's definitely and obviously this very authoritarian streak with him. And there is a little bit of that America First stuff that sounds like the First Order in The Force Awakens. So like, I'm still 50-50 on this whole thing, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way I did on Election Day, which was I just kind of found it so immensely funny that it just feels like a whole joke. And in some ways it kind of is. But yeah, I don't feel particularly stressed out or like particularly like I'm not under any illusion that the world's coming to an end or that, oh, everything's going to be perfect now. It's the same crap that we've dealt with for a long time. It's just so happens that this candidate is the type of candidate that we haven't seen either in forever or for a very, very long time.
What do you think about his color today? I thought the orange was just about right.
Yeah,
I guess, T, I should kick that to you.
He looked pretty. He
looked
the appropriate amount of orange.
Yeah, he definitely put in work on it, and well, it's not new, but I did realize something today. I found out that he doesn't wear Trump suits. He wears the was it Brioni suits that he?
Is that right?
I thought he just wore his own line.
Is that a Trump tie at least?
The tie is probably Trump.
Tie's probably.
It's the one made in America Trump tie.
Yeah, why does he keep that tie so low? You see, that thing hangs below his balls. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know who dresses.
It's a status. It's a status symbol.
That's a status symbol. Low tie.
Yeah, really
very
low
alpha
ties.
male.
The ties that touch your shoes.
Yeah, the longer the tie hangs, lets you know what's going on, ladies.
Do you guys think this was kind of a win? Like, to me, the win about Trump was that this was actually a blow to the SJW bigoteer crowd. Like, they're freaking out. And I think all of us would agree that these guys needed a loss. Like, if Clinton had won, it would have just tightened those screws that much more. So in that way, I think there's a win. Now, what Trump's going to do, we don't know. But just in that battle, the SJW thing, what do you think, T?
Yeah, the SJWs are like you said going crazy. I remember Lawrence Southern tweeted out earlier that they were smashing windows, and I saw pictures of some other cities where some ANCOMs and Antifa black and red communists were running around smashing up a Wells Fargo, and they had to deploy tear gas and stuff. And those are the really, really far extreme SJWs. The more normie, regular Milo, Stewart, or regular feminists on YouTube type SJWs, but they're upset too. And I do think that their loss was necessary. And I know this is bias coming from someone who's pretty far right, but yeah, the way they've been going about things, their tactics, their rhetoric, and most of all, in my opinion, their general authoritarianism in their execution of their proposed policies. I think that it was pretty necessary that they weren't allowed to be victorious, as 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 crazy as that sounds, but we are in the realm of politics, so it's either win or lose here.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that this loss will shake them up and get them to rethink their positions and rethink how they've gone about doing things. But I'm not too hopeful for that.
We've I mean, we've already seen that they haven't learned any lessons from this. They're still kind of parading around the same talking points that they paraded before the election. I don't think it's going to amount to much. I think the win with Trump was really just a win for like, oh, hey, even Hillary Clinton, the person with probably the most political power, the most money backing her, even she could lose the presidency if enough people came together and voted for somebody, whether or not that person was the right person for the job. I think it's nice to see that it's not always predetermined like we sometimes might feel it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Isn't that the greatest thing
win.
about America? I mean, to me, that's the biggest takeaway, that the media, the power, the elite, all the money, everything wanted one thing to happen, and the other thing happened. Like, that's pretty fucking spectacular.
It's pretty cool. I wish it was a different guy, but
yeah, right.
You take
Ron
what you
Paul
can
would have
get.
been awesome.
Hey, T, what do you think when you see all these people rioting and the tear gas and throwing shit in bank windows and all that stuff? You know, these are your guys in a way, the anarchists, right?
No, do not lump me
correct
in
me,
with the
man.
anarcho-communists. The anarcho-capitalists are sophisticated. We're not degenerate. We are not involved with these type of people. But yeah, I feel like, especially with the victory of Trump, there's forever, there's always been this pretty anti-capitalist sentiment on the left. And as the SJW and the cultural Marxism has grown up and kind of exploded recently in terms of social media, it's kind of like stirred the pot a little bit and like kind of like took it to the next level where like they feel emboldened, like, yeah, capitalism is a problem. Let's go ahead and really smash it this time. But I feel like Trump's victory it's a win for, not even really a win, but it lets you know that, at least the reaction lets you know that there is something about to come in which the opposition to capitalism and the furthering of capitalism is going to clash.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that clash is going to result in productive communication and trying to actually solve problems and how we can work forward, or whether we accidentally go full Pinochet, I don't know, but we'll definitely have to see.
So that's basically the screwy situation that we're in, that these people who think the whole system's against them, now they've got the easiest giant orange blob to say, you see, the system is against us, and then he will have to turn the system against them. So I don't see a lot of opportunity for these people to come together. I think there's some new center developing, but it has almost nothing to do with these guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah, I would agree too. And I'm sorry, Chris. You can go ahead.
Nah, that's fine. I was just saying that, no, it makes sense. I mean,
well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
regards to,
I'm just watching Twitter
go
insane.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? We'll
much.
take some questions from Twitter. So tweet at the three of us, or tweet at me, or whatever it is. And we'll take some questions from Twitter and from the YouTube comments as well. Chris, do you ever think that if the SJW thing gets smashed, like let's say Trump somehow just blows the whole thing apart and it's over, you got to change careers?
Me? Nah. I've facilitated an audience that seems to be willing to deal with whatever bullshit I'm willing to put up on screen. I think what I do is more kind of like I've built a channel off of just whatever I felt like talking about. It's not necessarily entirely social justice related. It happened to be because it was particularly interesting this past year and a half. But I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Do you think it's over on the left for guys like us? I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks that maybe we did lose here. Like maybe I do really have to be like, I'm not on the right in a traditional sense, but the left thing, do you think maybe we actually did lose that?
I don't know. I feel like, again, the labels are kind of meaningless now. I don't think we've lost it so much as like the game that we're playing is just old and boring and obsolete. It's like you don't have to lose to just stop playing. You know what I mean? It's the whole labels in and of themselves are like worthless now. Like, when was the last time you spoke to somebody and asked the question, "Oh, hey, are you left?" You know, like it doesn't.
I
don't
know.
think for most
I say it
people
on this show
matters.
every week. It's like, I hate these freaking labels, and yet sometimes you need them to just because otherwise people just don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good it's a good what do you call it? A good icebreaker, I guess, or not even like an icebreaker, more of like a really digestible, small, bite-sized version of what you might think. Like, I would say that I'm still liberal, you know, because I think it's most accurate to what I would personally agree with, as far as the stereotypical liberal goes. But even so, it's like those things don't define absolutely everything, and even within the realm of politics, they don't define everything within the realm of politics, and they certainly don't define anything outside of it. So,
Yeah. Hey,
I don't
T,
know.
since I know what you hate more than anything is authoritarianism, the Trump thing is kind of interesting for someone like you because on one hand, he's going to probably lower corporate taxes, businesses will start doing stuff again. On the other hand, he's got all this America First stuff. So, you know, if you want to buy things from other countries or if businesses want to move freely and laissez-faire capitalism and all that, he's not going to be good for that, right?
Yeah, definitely not so much. And even though recently his execution of protectionism has been a little bit different than I expected, seeing as he's going the route of, you know, trying to more so persuade companies to stay in America by, you know, offering them lower taxes, or, you know, this perk or that benefit, things like that, or this, you know, press coverage. You know, I mean, I'm sure any company with bad PR right now, that they're dying to say, yeah, we just made a deal with Trump to keep 1,000 jobs.
Right.
Even though that is still in its nature crony capitalist, and I would prefer it to be a complete free market system with just general free market competition. But, you know, we're in this situation where, you know, neither side is really on board with that. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's making the best out of what he can, and hopefully he keeps it like that and not go the route of trying to actually penalize companies who do go outside of his, you know, vision for America. But yeah, his authoritarianism is an interesting breed that we haven't seen in a while, and I'm interested to see how it's going to play out.
Right, because I guess it's that the idea of America first, that's not a philosophy. It's not an economic philosophy, really. So you could say America first, meaning I want everyone to buy American, but if you want goods to be traded freely and equally across borders, not great for you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Trump, like you said countless times in your video, Trump is a populist. He wants to you know, have a mass appeal to the people. He wants to he wants his legacy. I don't know if he actually wanted it before or if it just ended up because it was his campaign slogan, to make America great again, you know. And how he's going to go about that, you know, we'll have to see. I'm definitely not too thrilled about all of his proposals and his ideas, and I think some of them actually won't even work. Hopefully we have the wall out of our systems at this point. But I feel like, you know, being someone who is interested in economics, I hate actually saying this, but I do agree that I feel like the primary point of Trump's victory and the primary thing that people are going to be looking forward to, including myself actually, is going to be the culture shift and how he changes the framework of American culture as it is now, rather than just, you know, economics and you know, our healthcare policies and, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And we've already had a crazy culture shift going on right now, right? Like, I've been tweeting lately about how comics, I mean, you know, famous comics that are a lot more successful and have a lot more money than I do, people have become painfully unfunny. I mean, major stars and producers and Chris, what do you think about that? As a guy that goes to the funny, because I think your goal usually is to make people laugh, and if there's a point in there that's great. But what do you think about like all
Yeah.
these people that are just having endless nervous breakdowns right now?
It's depressing, especially because a lot of them are people that I previously like really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Even if it's like people like Patton Oswalt telling people to hoard food. And it reminds me of back when Obama was elected and people in Texas were like, we're gonna secede.
Yeah.
It's like everybody just needs to calm down. It's another president. He doesn't agree with you. Deal with it. Like people who haven't agreed with Obama have dealt with it for the last 8 years, and we're fine.
Yeah.
Like you'll
What
be
happened?
totally
What
fine.
happened to
But like all
comedians
these,
winning with comedy? Wouldn't that be the way you beat the guy instead of
Yeah.
telling everybody to hoard food and trying to censor Milo's book and the rest of this shit?
yeah, the interesting thing that I found about comedy, especially in regards to Trump, which was I felt really disappointed when Trump won, specifically on one stance, because it's difficult to be funny when you're making fun of Trump because it's just so boring and it's everything that you could say about him has been said already and it's cool, you know? It's like back in when Hillary was a serious candidate, like people like you and me, people like T, I'm sure everybody in our circle, we were kind of the only people on YouTube that I saw who were really taking any jabs at Hillary Clinton. But now everyone is taking jabs at Trump. So you can't even really be funny about it. You kind of have to be genuinely serious about it and be like, okay, so this is the actual problem with Trump. I can't beat around the bush here. I can't make a joke here because that's the only way you're going to say something new because everybody's bitching about stupid shit.
I hate to say it, but Milo called that shit a year and a half ago on my show. I mean, Milo was saying that there's nothing funny left on the left and it's all become this preachy nonsense. And yeah, he's pretty much right.
Yeah, I mean, Hillary was infinitely funnier, I think, with her random spasms and her there was so much material to work off of that I feel like Trump is like, oh, he's orange.
It's
What do we
awful.
do?
We got to the point where we're laughing at seizures. but
Well,
I would like to
listen, I
propose a
think
question to you.
I have a deranged sense of humor. I think a lot of things are funny that probably aren't. But I don't know. Hillary was just a meme machine. And Donald Trump is a meme machine also, but like it's a very different kind of machine.
It is a different kind of machine. So let's talk about the big machine here right now, which I think one thing that we definitely all would agree on is that the destruction of the mainstream media has kind of been a beautiful thing over the last year, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
the
the mainstream media has been under under attack for quite a while. Like I haven't watched CNN or Fox in like 7 years, really.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's kind of catching up.
Do you think there's a risk, though, that anybody can do what we're doing? I mean, I'm not even professing that the three of us are the greatest experts on anything. I think, you know, all three of us have a unique perspective, and I think these days that's more important than anything else. But that anyone can get on YouTube, sit at a desk, put on a suit, and pretend they know what they're talking about. There's some risk in there, right?
I would say so, you know, but it's a worthwhile risk, I would say as well, because going forward, you know, at least that's what I wanted to see coming out of this whole election ordeal. You know, the revisiting of communication. You know, trying to actually, you know, put forth ideas and getting people to actually propose what they think and trying to talk solutions. And people always say, you know, oh, we always do that. We're always talking solutions. When in reality, most of the time, at least from what I see, people are usually just critical. And being critical and proposing, you know, fresh, original ideas are not the same thing. And I think one is immensely more valuable than the other. So with this wave of people coming on to the scene, with these fresh new ideas, some like completely you know, brand new, like the 36 genders and stuff like that, and some, you know, revisiting the good old days, you know, trying to just repackage some stuff a little bit, you know, kind of like you know, our alt-right buddies, and, you know, saying, you know, Third Reich wasn't so bad. I mean, they had awesome suits. You have to admit. Um, but even with all this stuff, I just want people to actually just put forth ideas and not so much just criticize what's already out there, but going forward, try and create something new, because I think that's how we're going to progress.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually why, when I was railing against the regressive left for a year, I've tried to shift a little bit away from that, because at some point we made our point. Enough people like you guys and a whole bunch of other YouTubers, we all started hitting the same thing, and I think it got to a little bit of critical mass. Maybe it had a tiny bit to do with what happened with this election, and now it's like, well, how do we actually change things, not just bitch about everything?
Yeah, and I would like to see that too. And I'm wondering too, speaking of like the whole production scene, and since both of you are in like kind of like the media content capital in LA, do you guys see anything changing in regards to the like people getting ready for Trump's presidency? Because I know leading up to it, everyone was going really hard against Trump and really going really hard for Clinton. And once he lost, there was like this crushing defeat, and like everything just like went silent for a while, and everybody was just like real low energy and just depressed, and the media was frantically trying to, maintain credibility, and they failed in that tremendously, which was amazing to see. But do you guys see anything coming forward, like when people are like getting ready for the fight, rather, in terms of like the media sense?
Chris, I'll let you go first.
Well, Patton Oswalt's getting people to hoard food. That's a good preparation strategy. No, I haven't noticed a particular change in attitude. It's always been it's been salty since the election was lost. But yeah, I haven't noticed much of any change. I mean, Dave's more into this whole media thing than I am. I just make crap in my room.
Yeah. Well, I'm in my basement. I'm in my garage, for the record. But I would say, yeah, I've seen something shift, because you guys know this. Everybody wants clicks and views and likes and all that stuff. And as the mainstream has just watched people just purge and just disappear from their numbers and seeing what's actually happening here, they're going to adjust. And I was in New York last week, and I had some meetings with some networks and agencies and things like that. And basically everybody was like, after inauguration, it's a new game, because we've hired a lot of people over the course of the election. They babble on about what, they get everything wrong. They get all their stats wrong and their polls wrong, and they're the same sold out people everyone's been listening to. And now there's some other good shit going on. So I think we're going to see something major on the media front this year.
Well, even I kept hearing a lot about Megyn Kelly apparently moving to was it NBC?
NBC, yeah.
That's a pretty big move that probably wouldn't have happened a year ago. I couldn't see that happening under an Obama presidency, like somebody from Fox News just like, hey, yeah, come on. Yeah, it's fine.
Can you guys imagine walking from 20 million? Fox offered her 20 million a year and she walked.
I don't believe that. I can't believe that number. I just can't.
That's an insane. I don't believe that number either. That's far too. That's insane. That's more than I feel like most hit TV stars make per episode.
You think we got? Like, I feel like if we put on some of her outfits, we could pull those numbers. It's about showing arm, I think.
It's the legs. Even though you can't see it, it's just that's the Fox thing. You know that there's some awesome legs underneath that desk, and it's just the fact that you just know that it's there. It's worth the 20 million.
We gotta get. It's a shame we don't have Blaire here to offer some insight.
I know. All right, so we're gonna find out what's up with Blaire. But meanwhile, I got a whole bunch of people asking questions for you guys. So Chris, first one's for you. What do you think is going to emerge in punk music for the next 8 years? Didn't they have a lot of material to say about Obama, but they didn't? That's a good one.
Yeah. So I mean, I did a couple of videos on particularly horrible anti-Hillary songs, and they weren't bad because they were anti-Hillary. I love all sorts of political music. Punk music's my favorite, and that's a notoriously liberal genre. Like Rise Against is one of my favorites, and they're remarkably liberal. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, again, because it's so cool to criticize Trump, because it's like, oh, it's something that your parents can do on Facebook and everyone's fine with it. I feel like that kind of takes a little bit of the edge off of punk and even just any political music that you would want to make. So I feel like what we're going to see in music in general, as we saw with the most latest, the most recent Gorillaz track, is that we're just going to get a lot of heavy-handed preaching that doesn't sound particularly good at all. And it's a shame.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't fully go down that route. First off, someone just jumped on and said that they'll join me on Patreon if I dress like Megyn Kelly. So please hold for that. A couple people asked about this. What do you guys think of the religious stuff today? Like, first off, Trump talking about God. I have no reason to believe this guy believes in God or even cares about God in any way. His worst moment of the whole campaign was at Liberty University when he's trying to quote Corinthians, whatever, and he's dripping with sweat. Meanwhile, the Christian conservatives voted for him at like 90%. But then right after, they had the rabbi come out and Billy Graham, and it seemed like a joke, right? They walking into a bar. I think all that stuff is basically bullshit. I would much rather have the president not put his hand on a Bible. We're not governed by the Bible. We're governed by the Constitution. So I would much rather have him his hand on the Constitution. What do you think about all the religious stuff, T?
I mean, yeah, it's mainly devolved into tradition at this point. I don't believe Trump is, at all nearly religious. I'm pretty sure he's
Absolutely not.
agnostic, if not, full blown, like just completely a-religious in general. But the thing is, even though personally I'm an atheist, if I was religious, I would understand the significance of like the selfish significance of having a president swear in regards to the Bible, and then having all the different religious leaders come out, and because and even though I'm not particularly a big fan of the whole swearing on the Bible thing, I still do appreciate bringing out the religious leaders and having them do their little in God we trust speech, just because there's I don't know how strong it is now, but there is still this lying, backdrop where if anything can still bring people together, even on the left, if or on the right or whatever, if it's something that can still not necessarily bring the two people together, bring their own individual collectives together, in solidarity of values like peace and hospitality and things like that. It unfortunately is still relegates to religion. And there's a lot of religious people who, may be going crazy right now in opposition to Trump, thinking he's a racist, a sexist, an Islamophobe and whatever. And when but when they have these religious leaders come out, it's still, it gets it like kind of like calms those waters. I would think that would be the purpose. And I would hope it'll be successful in that. Even though I noticed that they didn't bring out any Muslim leaders. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't fly, especially with Trump. But yeah, that was interesting.
I thought I saw yesterday, though, they were going to bring out an imam, but I guess he didn't show, or I don't know what happened.
Oh, I didn't know they were considering bringing one out, but yeah, they just had I'm sorry for any religious people. I don't know their names, but the Jewish guy, the Catholic guy, and the the pimp pastor with the purple shirt. So
yeah, you've really offended some sensibilities there by not knowing the rabbi and the priest's name.
Oh man,
Chris, what do you think about the religious stuff? I get what you're saying, that everything's so crazy that you hear some people talk about God and peace, and maybe that's nice. I just see no use for it in government. It has nothing to do with reality, really. But I get your point. Chris, what do you think?
yeah, I mean, it's funny. I tweeted because I was having fun on Twitter with during the whole inauguration thing, and I said I've been just tweeting these snide remarks. I said stop trying to make religion a thing, and it pissed off a lot of people. So it kind of makes me happy to know that those people are still around to offend, because I feel like they've been gone for ages. So it's nice to see. Kind of like seeing an old ugly friend, Yeah.
What do you guys think of the people that outraged constantly? Like, forgetting just the politics behind them, just like the type of person that's just waiting for Chris Ray Gunn to say one thing they don't like, and they're going to Tumblr the shit out of that thing.
Well,
What
they'll
kind of
do
person
it
is
because here's the thing: it's always okay as long as the sensibilities that I don't personally identify with are the subject of jokes. That's what I've noticed.
Naturally.
It's like, yeah, I mean, if you're following me on Twitter and for some reason forgot that I was a liberal, there you go. Like, I'm gonna make fun of religion. Like, there's no topic that's off the table in my mind. It's all, this whole thing's a big joke, and it's fun to treat it as if it is. And just learn to laugh, have some fun.
I couldn't agree more. A whole bunch of people are asking about the speech itself. Basically, a lot of people are saying that it was really aggressive and like it didn't really seem like it was trying to heal anything. T, what do you think about that?
It was, yeah. I mean, it definitely wasn't a kumbaya speech. But it honestly wasn't really that impressive of a speech for me personally. It was what we've heard from him, throughout his entire campaign. That we're going to, make America great again. We're going to bring back jobs. We're going to build the roads, and the average politician stuff. And that's I feel like that's Trump's thing. He's either just full blown boring average, talking points, or he's crazy extraordinaire meme guy. And those are like his two personalities, always one extreme or the other. But he had to pick one. I'm pretty sure the latter would have been funnier for his speech, but he went with normal guy. Rallying off his campaign slogans and his proposed policies that we've heard a million times. So the speech wasn't really that crazy for me. It didn't make me feel like I wasn't impressed. I wasn't enamored by it or anything, and it didn't seem passionate to me. And I don't know if that's just Trump's demeanor, but for some reason I don't really get this sense of passion from him that much. At least not in the whole overly emotional cartoony way. He may just be a really laid back guy, for all I know. But yeah, the speech wasn't all that for me.
Do those buzzwords when they're saying he's racist or he's homophobic or Islamophobic, any of that stuff? I mean, I know what you guys think of all those buzzwords, but Chris, do you think any of them are actually applicable to him? Do you think he actually doesn't like black people or doesn't like gay people or any of that stuff?
No, I don't think so. I think Trump is a very malleable person. I like what have been his politics for the last 20 years, I feel like they've been like
very malleable.
Yeah, they've just been whatever fits the circumstance. I feel like he's more narcissistic than he is any of those other buzzwords. Like, I feel like it's not that Trump doesn't care about black people or Trump doesn't care about gay people. It's that Trump cares about himself and maybe other rich people, maybe if he likes them. So I don't know. I don't buy the buzzwords, but I do think he's a pretty self-indulgent dude who's probably not going to have too many people's best interest in mind at the end of the day. That's my view of it.
Did you guys see on Twitter, I saw that Sean King had tweeted something about, 13 of the 16 people are white men in the cabinet or something. And I tweeted back at him and I said, shouldn't you care more about the content of their character than the color of their skin? I guess that's not really cool these days. It was more of a populist sentiment like 40 years ago.
You're not blocked by Sean King?
What's that?
You're not blocked by Sean King?
I'm not blocked as far as I know.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I am. Are you guys both blocked by him?
I'm checking right now.
I am.
You're blocked by him?
No, I'm not. I am not blocked by Sean King.
You guys need to step your game, man.
Yeah, Chris, we'll see what we can do with that. I think by the end of this conversation, we might get there.
You know what it is? Wait, you know what it is? It's our white privilege.
Yeah, I'm curious what you both think on this, though, because I saw him tweet that, this thing about 13 of the 16 people are white. And then the same day, I saw Mark Lamont Hill, who's one of these guys who runs around CNN and all these things. And he was addressing the fact that there are some black people around Trump and supporting Trump and in the cabinet and all that. And he called them mediocre Negroes. And I thought, man, this just captures the whole thing. If he has white people then he's a white supremacist. If he has black people, then they're somehow sellouts. Like it's the pinnacle of lazy thinking. T, you first.
Yeah, and I saw that Zach tweet that you or not the tweet, but the quote that somebody tweeted at me that you mentioned, and somebody replied to me. They said, "Okay, I wonder how long until the same guy is going to start complaining about underrepresentation in Trump's cabinet from black people, after he just
Right.
labeled everyone trying to get involved mediocre blacks." It's so ridiculous, and it makes you think like what's even the point of trying to please them, like at this point it's like whatever, you're going to be mad, fine, be mad, we're over here making America great again. And I feel like that overall is the one sentiment that resonates with people, that is it there's always, every election cycle, or in regard to politics anyway, there's always this idea of, the desire to come together and work together and everyone, compromise and, just try to get something done and stuff like that, around both sides bipartisanly. And now people, are getting to the point where, there's sides, both on the left and the right, majority on the left at the moment, where they're just not willing to compromise. And, we could constantly sit here waggling our fingers saying, come on, guys, kumbaya, come on, let's work together. Or we can just say, how about we just do our own things and try to be successful in that. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing now. And, if Mark Lamont sees, black people trying to work with Trump as being mediocre, that's fine. But, I wish him luck in what he's doing, and I just hope that he doesn't get in the way of other black people who actually are trying to be productive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that gets me, because you take a guy like Steve Harvey, Trump meets the guy. This is an extremely successful guy. Virtually everyone likes Steve Harvey. I don't know, there's a lot of people walking around going, I don't like Steve Harvey, right? And it's like, he's going to try to do something. He's going to try to work on the inner cities. That's what everyone's wanted for so long. So if you're going to pin him as a sellout, it's like, I agree with you. Then it's like, everyone's going to be like, all right, fuck this. There's nothing I can do to win, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Chris, I'm curious, you are Latino, or is it Latinx?
Yes.
What do you prefer?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell. I don't care.
But
I'm Puerto Rican.
Español.
I am of Puerto Rican blood.
Yes. All right. So you are of Puerto Rican blood. I didn't notice a lot of Latinos on the in the cabinet. Are you upset by this?
No. I am so apathetic to this.
Chris,
this
can't you
whole
get
thing.
upset by anything? Come on, for God's sakes.
Dude, I feel like I'm just so numb to it. It's like, again, like we were just talking about how like no matter what Trump does, he can't win. Like Trump could go outside and talk about, oh, hey, the sky's pretty blue, isn't it? And there'd be a whole hashtag campaign about how it absolutely isn't. And it's just, he's such a cartoon character at this point, or like he's been built into such this Saturday morning villain that like I can't care. I've tried so hard to care. But like the representation in the cabinet, for me, I mean, there's barely any Latino AAA movie stars, or particularly like Lin-Manuel Miranda might be the most prevalent Puerto Rican music person, like a person in the music industry. But the representation has always been lacking. But it's like it's never been. I don't view somebody who has the color of my skin or has the heritage that I have as any more capable of dictating the laws of the land as anybody else. It doesn't seem to, because it doesn't affect me at all. I don't base my decisions on whether or not somebody else shares my heritage or not. So why would a Supreme Court justice or a cabinet member do the same?
Isn't that also just like a huge shell game? Like, I had Margaret Cho in here, and I was questioning her because she definitely falls into a lot of the SJW stuff, and I was happy to have her here and treated it as respectfully as I treat anybody else. But I was trying to show her that in a lot of ways, you could argue the Asian community in America has done it better than anybody, because all they cared about, not all they cared about, but they've put a tremendous emphasis on education and work and family. And through that, have huge economic success, have great jobs, live in good communities, upper middle class, et cetera, et cetera. And
yeah.
what I was trying to say to her is, well, maybe there isn't that much representation in movies, but in a weird way, maybe it's because they kept their eye on the ball. I don't think she fully got what I was saying, but that seems to me to be the way to do it.
It's feasible. I mean, it's all it all seems to be very surface level analysis. Like, oh, this guy's black, so he'll be good for black people. Like, no, it's not always the case.
T, what's it like having to walk around representing all black people all the time? Must be exhausting.
It's a burden, you know, but I just try my best not to get arrested and not get shot, and I think that's a pretty good, you know, I think I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, what are you, like your family and your friends, because your politics are they're pretty out there, forgetting left, right, or any of that bullshit, but your stuff and you're very outspoken. I mean, what do the people around you think about you putting your voice out there?
Actually, you know, they've been pretty supportive. You know, most of my family and most people around me in my general community are pretty far left. But most people, at least in my family and my community, and I think most people in general, are, you know, kind of apolitical. You know, they have their preferences here and there. They you know, they buy into the mainstream news stuff. So it's, of course they think Trump is racist and bigot and stuff like that. But you know, overall, I think like it's not really as a big of a concern for them as a lot of people may think. I think there's very few people in America overall that really care that much about like, you know, actually getting involved and trying to like shape politics. I think most people just, you know, play their not play their card, but put in their vote in the ballot every 4 years and just say, all right, we'll see what happens. But as far as my what I've gotten back from my views, it's been pretty positive. Most people are supportive of me. I've had quite a few people disagree, but it's a respectful disagreement. You know, it's not what I anticipated, where I thought I would get like shunned from the community and, you know, called a sellout and stuff. You know, that's more so from the people who claim to be the most tolerant of people. Those are the ones who are most likely to shun me out. But you know, it's been okay.
Yeah. Chris, speaking of tolerance, you tweeted something funny, or I saw a video on it or something, that somebody was calling you a white supremacist. You live with like 3 black guys, don't you?
Yeah. All my roommates are black dudes. And they've been my friends since like high school. They're really cool guys. And they know what I do, and they know that they don't care. But like,
yeah. You're really getting in deep with the white supremacist community, infiltrating. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm a spy. You ever play Splinter Cell? That's me, dude. I'm infiltrating. But
a couple people have asking what do we think that Michelle and Barack were thinking that whole time? Because did you guys see? I mean, Michelle had the cold stare of death the whole day. I mean, from when she was walking down with Ivanka to when Trump was walking by, and Trump didn't shake her hand at the end. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, the whole speech really seemed like a big, like, screw you to Obama. Like, you've divided us and I'm going to unite us. I got to say, since the election, from the day after the election, I think Obama has been pretty good on this. Like, that we have to have a smooth transition of power. I obviously don't like this guy. This is a vision I don't like. But, like, we have 240 years of history that we got to follow in. So I think he's been okay. But the speech was kind of rough to them. What do you think they were thinking?
I just had to, I'm with Chris. I just had to laugh at that one.
No, I mean, I think they were thinking, Hillary, how could you?
Yeah, like you had one job.
How'd you mess this up so bad?
That's actually pretty funny. Like, they're actually angrier at Hillary right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, how does Hillary, like, I can't even imagine what Hillary's thinking. Like, when she's just standing there clapping, just like, oh my God. It's all so amusing to me.
Yeah, but you know, she's still got that fake smile, you know, the whole time, the whole day, she had her fake smile on, which I think is what a lot of people didn't like about her in the first place.
Exactly. I think I
Yeah.
think honestly, if Hillary would have been just like laid back and just like this is with the worst expression on her face, I'd be totally like, yeah, dude, finally.
Yeah, like at least be honest about it. We all know you're salty. Like, just be real.
Yeah, how could you not? How could you not be like livid
I mean, Bernie
under these
Sanders, when they did
circumstances?
their close-ups on him, he was salty. I saw that. He didn't hide
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah,
he was
but people
salty, but he was
respect that
also
more. Don't they respect that more?
If you're genuine, people respect
so.
people being genuine. That's why Trump won. That's why Bernie had such a huge lead early on. It's because you could tell people are genuine. It's obvious. It's a giveaway.
Yeah. The bullshit is crumbling at epic rates, huh? Like, I'm talking about media, politician, like everything, like just the general state of bullshit. Like, we all knew something has been wrong with our whole discourse for a long time. And now it's just seemingly obvious, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
It's
it's such a weird transition going on. You know, it's like it's not really a ideological shift. More so, I think it's like an I don't want to say an ideological divide happening, but you know, it's just people, you know, just dividing themselves up. You know, they're abandoning the like just the general, you know, collective they've been in for so long. And I think that's why we're seeing the rise of so many alternative voices. You know, whether you agree or disagree with them. You know, like for instance, so someone who I've never would have, you asked me if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would have you know, had an interest in this guy, I've been like, what, are you crazy? You're a racist. But I've taken immense interest in like someone like Richard Spencer, who's who has extremely controversial views, you know, very what's the word I'm looking for? Like I can't think of the word. Small, isolated, you know, niche views.
Mhm.
And he's like just the difference in what he's bringing forward and just the uniqueness in perspective is refreshing. And I think a lot of people are trying to are getting on board with that. And I think that comes back to what I was talking about in regards to like creation over criticism. Like people are actually like bringing forth new ideas and saying, you know, what about this? You know, how about we try this, and how about we pro this? You know, instead of just going back and forth with saying, a little bit of this side, a little bit of that side. You know, the same old boring, you know, political jargon that we've heard forever.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, though, because I feel like I'm in a little bit of that. Like a guy like Richard Spencer, guess what? He's not happy that you're in the country, probably not thrilled that I'm in the... Actually, all three of us, right? We got a black guy, a Latino, and a Jew. He's not thrilled with any of the three of us. But I think we would all agree that silencing this guy is not the answer.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
would
it's
agree.
what is it? The Streisand effect. If you purposely go out and silence something, it just makes it more likely that people are going to find out what the hell you're trying to silence in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, look what they did with Milo.
Yeah, exactly. Like censorship doesn't help anyone. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole thing has been interesting because like this might be a bit of a detour here, but
Go
like
for it.
in my household has always been like my dad's has always been this super conservative dude. He was all pro Trump this whole time, watching Fox News every damn day. And my mom was this very, very liberal, very, very like into like spiritual healing. So I got both sides of the debate from a very early age, which is why now I just find myself just so in the middle of everything.
I guess that's the answer. If you come from a conservative dad and a liberal mom, you end up doing music about all this stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, that was cool, right?
Whoa, what
Oh,
happened
that was
there?
neat.
What was that? Something freaked. All right, wait. You know what I'm going to do?
like
I'm
a
going to do a
music
quick little
video.
reset. The questions have been blowing up in here, so keep throwing questions at us on YouTube. I'm here with that guy T in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here with Chris Ray Gunn in a slightly different part of Los Angeles than I'm at. And Blaire White was supposed to be joining us, but apparently there's a big power outage. There is a massive storm right now in Northern Cali, so hopefully she can jump in at some point. Let's see here. All right, here's one. Do you guys think it'll be easier to hold the Trump administration to account compared to previous elite offices? That's kind of interesting. Chris, what do you think? Can we hold these guys to account?
I think we can, but I think politics again have become so ingrained in everything and so primary a defining factor as to whether or not we even communicate with each other that I feel like a lot of people who either voted for Trump or supported Trump vehemently will just not be open to criticism, however legitimate it is. And I feel like it would have been the same if Hillary would have won. I feel like we're in a particularly politically I don't know if this term makes a lot of sense, but it's a very politically religious time where like people, I guess like as the West or the United States in particular has started to kind of sway away from religion, even like the alt-right is like barely what I would consider Christian conservative. I feel like as religion has kind of gone away, we've replaced it with politics.
Yeah.
So we're
well,
just
you're not allowed
as
to be bigoted to somebody over religion, but you could be very bigoted to them over their political beliefs.
well, it's not even that. It's just like it's like devout politics. Like Trump can do no wrong, guys. Hillary can do no wrong, guys. Really? Like, what's that about potential dead reporters? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, what Trump has no experience doing anything? Don't worry about it. He's fine.
Yeah.
It's just
hey,
this
T,
very odd.
Did you see my tweet during this thing that I was saying that the best argument against progressivism and what's happened to the left, this is the best example right now of limited government because it's not always going to be your guy in power. So the only way to really neuter them is that you got to take the power away from everybody. So when it's your guy, he'll have a little less power, and that's going to be tough on you. But that way, when it goes the other way, unless you want to live under a fascist dictatorship, you got to neuter that guy. Is that the best argument for small government?
I would hope so. You know, this I don't know, it's such a weird freaking time. And I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of what you said in that one because I was getting a phone call from Facebook and I don't know. Damn it,
man,
another one.
You're multitasking over it. Basically, that the best argument for limited government, what I would say to my progressive friends, is guys, if you don't like Trump right now, if you think that this is going to be this evil dictatorship, well, then that's an argument for small government because it's not always going to be your guy in charge.
Yeah. No, yeah. I would absolutely agree with that.
And you know, I think people are starting to realize that. I mean, I would think that would be an easy answer for people to just realize that, you know, I said this on Twitter the other day. I said, you know, people say, you know, Trump's anti-science and, you know, he's you know, gonna, you know, we're never going to have progress in global warming because of Trump and things like that. I said that, and I believe it to an extent, that Trump poses no threat or no direct threat to the continued innovations of science unless you believe that science is an inherent byproduct of socialism. Because people have this idea that in order to get something that they believe should be done, in order to, you know, get whatever type of accomplishment they want to have happen, they need government behind them to do it. When historically that hasn't been the case, you know, most major innovations, and whether it be in science or any field for that matter, or socially, culturally, has come from not from having a, you know, huge power backing you, but rather just having the ability to pursue whatever you're trying to do, having the freedom to get it done. And I think if you continue to, you know, give people that freedom, and I think if people actually utilize that freedom, I mean, it's possible for them to you know, get whatever they want to get done. And it makes that threat of, you know, having to worry about, you know, whether this person gets in, if they're going to, you know, screw us over, or if this person gets in, they're going to screw us over. It minimizes that threat because at that point, you're no longer reliant on having your guy in office or having, you know, your preferences realized in government to actually get your shit done. So I would
Yeah.
hope that people, start to realize that, we're getting people in office. We got Trump in office. Whether you agree with him, whether you think he's just the racist, crazy, anti-science Hitler. Realize that now is the time for you to start trying to figure out ways to get shit done on your own. Figure out ways to get stuff done in an alternative route than traditionally just lobbying government to try and get it done for you.
Yeah.
But that's my
Chris,
inner
how do we
libertarian
make
coming out.
freedom cool again? Freedom is supposed to be cool. I don't give a shit what you guys do in your lives. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to live your life and I'll live my life and, we'll do this every now and again. But why is it that people think that freedom somehow, like young people, it seems to be that they are into socialism?
What you mean, like they think that your freedom comes specifically from the government?
Yeah, well, there's this idea that younger people are having more and more socialistic attitudes, and if you talk to them about freedom and individuality instead of collective and all that, they think that means you're selfish or evil or some capitalist monster, where to me, individual liberty is the greatest thing you got.
Maybe. I think that attitude comes mostly from just being, again, in a first world nation where you can kind of think about, oh, why don't we just kind of help everyone? You know what I mean? I don't think it's a particularly incorrect viewpoint, but it's a correct viewpoint for when you can do it. Like I said back a while ago, I was having a conversation similar to this where it was like, oh, well, so you don't think we should help foreign countries rebuild? It's like, no, it's like that'd be nice, but we should probably focus on ourselves for like you can't help somebody if you got 2 broken legs,
Yeah.
So work on fixing yourself first, and then when you can do that, go ahead. But I don't think we're particularly at a point where we can just give free college to everybody.
Yeah. Although, ironically, that's pretty much what Trump said today, right? Like, America first. We're going to deal with our shit first, and then we'll go from there. Hey, T, a whole bunch of people are asking, is that a real gun behind you? I can't see it from my little point here.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, it is. It's authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you got there? I can't really see it. Can you grab it?
It's a yeah, I can. It is a
I want all guests of the Rubin Report to be packing heat from now on. Let's see.
Oh man.
And for anyone who was wondering, yes, I do have on gym shorts. I'm only half professional. That's all that matters. It's just a PAP M85 AK pistol.
Dang, dude. AK pistol. Fucking hell.
yeah, little trap house gun.
Chris, what's the most violent thing you have in your bedroom?
Oh, geez. Probably that rosewood guitar.
California is ready. You guys are prepared.
If this was a video game, I could see you beating people with a guitar.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. That'd be awesome. Somebody make that game. Somebody already made a game where I'm a playable character, but I'm spraying bleach out of a bottle. Thank you for that, David.
Somebody put me in a video game where they have Islamists throwing me off a roof with Milo.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's great. That's just great. This is a good one. Somebody said that Trump said in his speech, "I will never let you down." When I heard that line, I thought, this is the kind of crazy shit that he shouldn't be doing. Like, of course you're going to let us down. Jesus could be president, would let us down. Like, it's just a bad move. Yeah. But is that just like, it's just words? It's just meaningless words?
It's just an ending to a speech. I think people are going to forget about it in like a couple of days. But I think writing that in the script was probably a really dumb move, because it's like, you've already let people down. You've already let millions of people down. Like, you can't possibly make that. Like, even Obama, like, oh, hey, you gonna close Guantanamo anytime soon? Maybe later.
Yeah.
And it's like, even he let people down, and he was like the person that everybody loved. Like, even I, who might not agree with Obama's policies, like, the guy, dude was charismatic. Like, I can't even deny that, dude.
Yeah.
So
he was really likable.
Is that the Obama legacy? I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time. It's like, man, for whether you like Obama or not, whether you think Obamacare was good or not, whether you think the economy didn't go off the cliff in 2009 because of him, all that shit, his legacy in a weird way is that Trump is now president. He cannot be happy about that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
T,
He
what do
was
you
the
think about
last
that? Like, do you think
pre-Trump president.
that's the legacy?
Uh, I think so, you know, in some respects. I mean, I will, you know, give credit to Obama on this one. You know, he did do a few good things, you know, in regards to some stuff. You know, Obamacare unfortunately was not one of them, but his opening up to relations to Cuba, his getting Osama bin Laden for whatever that's worth, and his what was the most recent, his release of Chelsea Manning, not release but his commutation
Clemency.
of her sentence. That was pretty good. But then he followed that by releasing a communist terrorist who planted bombs across New York City. So I don't know, but yeah, his legacy is going to be, you know, the president that was cool, you know, the cool uncle who didn't do anything, you know, relatively useful or, you know, incredible, but you know, he was just fun to have around dinner and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, a bunch of people are asking sort of the same question in different ways, but they kind of want to know, like, what do you guys want out of this? Like, out of what you're doing? Is it just to keep making videos and, you know, go forward that way? Or do you want to be picked up by a network? You want to be TV stars? Chris, you want to be a huge music star? You want to be in a video game? Like, what's the end game here? Chris, you first.
Me, I just kind of want to grow the channel. I don't really care what the topic is that grows it. I just have fun doing video production and working in this environment, meeting all sorts of cool people. It's been an interesting ride, but it's fun. Like how I see it is this is a way for me to build a small studio, like where I can get people to maybe like. The end goal isn't political commentary. It's just like, oh, I'm accumulating all this equipment for maybe one day I don't know, one day I'll make a short movie or something, whatever. It's like I went to film school, so that's really what I want to do. I'd like to be behind the camera, and this whole thing has just been a hobby that just so happened to take off, and that's my only goal out of this. I don't really have any particularly lofty political aspirations.
T, give me something lofty.
Yeah, you know, that guy T 2020, of course.
Would you ever
But
run for office?
huh?
Would you run for office?
Not no. I mean, in 40
You
years,
have a
you
chance,
know, who
dude.
knows
You have a
what I would
chance
do.
now.
Yeah.
Anyone
but,
can be president now.
yeah, the stakes are off. It can be anyone, you know. Hopefully it's not Brianna Wu, but
she's running for Congress, right?
She is. She is. I haven't seen her ad yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. Is it?
It's great. Watch it.
I would hope so.
For the record, to her credit, she reached out to us about coming on the show, and we agreed to do it. We were going to do it this week, but our schedule was a little nuts. But we're going to rebook it. But I would be happy to talk to her.
Total credit to her there. I would not expect that.
Yeah,
so
and you guys know I'm reaching out to these people all the time, and 90% of them won't talk to me. So
yeah,
so
like
that's definitely.
I remember. I remember I got a lot of tweets about like, oh, you're on the Rubin Report. He only interviews people who agree with him. But it's like, I know what the circumstance you're in. It's like the people who disagree with you either block you or just don't want to come on.
Yeah. First off, you know, yeah.
And also, that's
these people
not true.
block me, right? Like, I just in the last week I tried to get that MTV girl, Chris, that you've given a lot of shit. What's her name?
Francesca Ramsey.
Yeah, I tried to get her on. I was going to tweet her. I saw that I was blocked. I was trying to get Ghostbusters girl. What's her name? Leslie Jones. Going to tweet at her. I saw I was blocked. But at the same time, I've had plenty of progressives and lefties on, and I treat them with respect. So people think that they're not even here because I treat them nicely. I guess they want me to be mean to them. But yes, a lot of them won't even talk to me. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and I hear the same thing too. Except I feel like they come at you from both sides. There's a side that says, you only get right wing people on, you only get, you know, libertarians and conservatives and stuff. But then on the very far right, people say, "Oh, he never has anyone right wing on. He always has these, centrist on. He needs like a millennial woes guy or something like that. He needs someone who's going to tell him the great message of the ethno state.
Yeah. Isn't that the best lesson of you just have to do what you think is right? Like that's more, if I learned anything this year, that was it. Because you're right, I get these people that say, some schmuck wrote an article about me this week saying I'm a white supremacist. Yeah, I'm a white supremacist. Meanwhile, I have the alt-right people saying that I don't even have real alt-right people on because I've had, Milo and Cernovich, but I haven't had the true neo-Nazi. So it's like, you just got to do what you think is right.
Yeah, and I feel like you're doing that, and it's useful. I mean, I enjoy how you present your interviews and how you bring people on, how you just your style of interviewing where you just ask people what they think, and then you let the audience decide for themselves. You're not really trying to catch them in a lie. You're not really trying to press them. Trying to say, "Ha, see, you're wrong," or even trying to gloat them like, "See, you see, you're wonderful." It's just.
Well,
Just letting them
actually,
talk. I think
starting
that's
this
beneficial.
week with this new Skype thing we have, our new thing is we're gonna be selectively editing a lot of what you guys have said today and pushing it out accordingly to show that you're racist or Islamophobic, et cetera, et cetera.
Hell
That's
yeah,
why we
dude.
have you guys in little boxes here.
Yeah,
That's good.
Well,
It's a good
I'll
strategy.
put it in now. Gas the Puerto Ricans, all of them, including Chris.
Oh no.
Man, I wish Blaire could have joined us, but we did the hour, guys.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Fucking Blaire.
Yeah.
Now
It was
people are gonna
awesome.
think we're transphobic or something, right?
Ah, damn it. Yeah.
Right. And before end off, I guess I'll switch it around and pose a
Yeah.
question to the interviewer. What's well, of course, what are your plans going forward? But what do you see happening in the realm of alternative media going forward? And how do you think it's going to play out? And what are your plans in regards to this Trump presidency and how you're going to go about addressing it?
Yeah, I mean, I've said on the show a couple times, like my whole thing with Trump for the last month and a half, basically since he got elected, 2 months now, is that I couldn't go crazy yet. People are going crazy about every pick and every tweet and all that, and it's like, wait till he's president. So starting today, if he starts doing bad shit, I'll call him out on that. But for the last 2 months, knowing the way he ran the campaign, where he was trying to get us all outraged first, I'm just not going to play that game. It's just not, I'm not going to be that dumb, basically, the way the rest of these media people are. So I'd say for the online thing and the space that we're all in, I think there's huge things coming this year. I had a couple interesting meetings in New York. I think there's a lot of opportunity for guys like us to be doing a lot more together. And I think that there's a huge awakening, even from mainstream, that they actually need people like us now. Nobody gives a shit about what's happening on CNN right now, except the people that are on CNN. It's just true, and I'm not pretending that the three of us know everything or are experts in every field, but I know that you guys offered more honest, interesting commentary than 90% of that cable bullshit. And I think that we're all getting this to critical mass, and it's a kind of beautiful thing. So I've got some plans. We're right at the beginning here. You know how it is, every time you move forward, then you're somehow back at the beginning again. It can be quite exhausting.
Yeah. but it's a worthwhile ride, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I will give a little tease on this. I have been thinking about doing a little bit of a weekly news kind of thing where we would incorporate this Skype thing, get a couple people all over the world, and maybe I'll have you two clowns back.
Sounds pretty.
I'll
We did the exact same head move. That's pretty insane.
I like that. I like how you guys synchronized the head up there. I don't know what that meant. You were both like, I don't know about that.
Dang, man.
All right, guys. Well, good luck under a Trump presidency. I hope the authoritarians don't come get you till at least the end of the weekend. And we'll do this again next time. We'll get Blaire and a couple other cool people.
Yeah, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Cheers.
All right, see you guys later.